So after over 25 years, I got my Friday night spot back at the club. And this is a big deal for me and for the club. And it may not be why you think. Yeah, there are personal reasons it works out fantastic, but there are other reasons that it's a really good thing. I've been fighting for this and I finally got it. So I'll give you a little explanation as to what's going on here. I started working at this club in early summer of 1992, and I left in late 1997 because my daughter was being born and I didn't want to be coming home at 3 o'clock in the morning with a baby. So I was the person who was changing the diapers. So I needed to be home. But when I started at the club, I was hired as the Friday night DJ. And on my first night at the club, the guy who was the general manager approached me and he said, look, just understand something. There are going to be nights where there's going to be nobody here because we're primarily a tourist attraction. If somebody's in town for a convention or a festival or a play or a concert or something, they might come in here on a Friday. But otherwise, it's probably going to be kind of dead if there's nothing going on in town. Saturday nights are the big night, so Fridays might be a little slow. So in my 21-year-old brain, I'm thinking to myself, hey, I can do whatever I want. This will be fun. But what ended up happening was whenever a local would come in with a group, I'd take care of them. And then they started coming back. And they were bringing their friends. And within about 6 months, I had like 50 to 75 regulars that would come in every single Friday. So the Saturday night was the busy night, but the Friday became equally as busy. And that was by accident. I didn't know what I was doing. It just happened that way. But I learned from it. Now, if I couldn't work a Friday for whatever reason, they had an alternate that would come in. If the Saturday person couldn't work, either the alternate would come in or I would take that spot. At the time when I started working down there in 1992, I had retired from mobile DJing, but like just within months, I decided I didn't want to do it anymore. I wasn't working for any multi-ops or anything else. But probably about 6 months later, I started doing mobile DJ stuff again. And then like 2 years later, I had my own company. So what was cool about working Fridays at Safe House was I was able to still work those Saturday gigs. And primarily my weddings were Saturdays. So Friday night was not interfering with the Saturdays. And the other cool thing was if I had a client who wanted to meet me or see me at a gig, all I had to say was, hey, I don't invite anyone to my private events. I wouldn't invite anybody to your private event. But I tell you what, you ever been down to Safe House? It's the club I work at on Fridays. I'll VIP you at the door. Come on in. So I would have all these people coming in to see me, just say hi and meet me and make sure I was legit. And I was booking all of these jobs. So it was a good thing working Fridays down there. Now, when I came back to the same club, 25 years later, this last New Year's, they liked me. And they put me in rotation with the other DJs that were down there. And I don't know how many there are. There might be 3 different DJs they have down there. I've only met one of them, and it was briefly. But the schedule comes out every month, and they kind of put you wherever. And the other DJs that are down there, I don't know what they're about. And I'm not hating on them, but they're not doing what I'm doing. I'm playing to the audience that's in there. I'm definitely taking care of locals when they come in. And I'm rotating that dance floor and generating the bar more money. They're making more money when I work down there. And there are other things too, like I always show up early. I'm consistent, I am dependable, and I put on a good performance. But I had to fight for this Friday night thing because in my mind, I'm thinking to myself, I can do the same thing I did back in the old days. Whenever those locals come in, I can really take care of them. Let them know they got a place to come on Fridays because I'll be here for them. And now all of a sudden, no matter what's going on in town, if there's no festival, concert, convention, play, whatever, we've still got people who are going to come in the door. And we're going to make money off of them. We're going to show them a good time. We're going to give them something they can't find anywhere else in town. I wish I would have had this Friday night spot at the beginning of summer, because I could have had all summer to take care of those locals and make them regulars, have them bring their friends. But better late than never. I started last night, and from here on out, I'm consistent Fridays. If something comes up, yeah, of course. Of course, I will get an alternate in there. Or if there's a Saturday that's, the schedule works out where nobody's available, I'll work it. There's one at the end of the month I'm working. 28th, it's Halloween. I'm guessing the other DJs wanted to go out that night or had other gigs. I don't. I'm happy to work it. So not strictly Fridays, but consistently Fridays for the most part. And the odd Saturday when nobody else could come in, that's when I'll be down there. And the other thing is, I like it down there. I really like it. They respect me. They're good to me. When I come in the door, they're happy to see me. They feed me anything I want off of the menu. They're nice to me. We work together. We talk about things. Well, what's going on tonight? Well, what can we do to make it better? Well, these people have been on the dance floor for a while. I'm going to send them to the bar. Let's get these people out. What do they want to hear? Nobody does that. But I do it. But that's experience, guys. I mean, and it's almost unfair because I've been there before. I kind of know how this all works. The other thing is, back in the old days, let's call them that, I was the Friday night DJ and nobody wanted to listen to anything I had to say. And I don't even know that anything I had to say was worth hearing back then. I was pretty green, in the grand scheme of things. But here I am, an old guy with a lot of experience under his belt. And they'll ask me questions. How can we do this better? How can we do that? How can we change this? What do you think of that? And I can give my input. What I try not to do is force my input on them. If there's a real problem, I'll say, hey, this is a problem. But just to make a suggestion, yeah, I mean, the management will talk to me. And we've got really good communication that way. I'm happy there. I'm real happy there. I'm happy to be back. And, looking back, it's kind of funny because, I'm thinking to myself, when I was in my 20s and I'm working down there, I keep thinking in my head, wow, man, there's got to be something better out there. I'm going to, go out in the world and find this other DJ gig that's going to be better than this DJ gig. And I've been out in the world. I have DJ'd, oh, man, I think in like 5 or 6 different countries. I've given, keynotes and seminars at conventions, DJ conventions all over the world. I've DJ'd in all these different states. I've got this YouTube channel. I've learned a lot. And going back to this place, I didn't know how good I had it. I had no idea. Artistically, they leave me alone. I do what I want to do. But I'm keeping in mind what's good for the establishment, I'm not just being self-indulgent down there. I could easily do it, and I would still get paid. But I'm going to make more working that place and making it money. So it's a long game I'm playing here. And now, the money is much better than it was back in the old days. Back in the old days, it was nothing. Maybe $70 a night. Now, I don't want to talk about my dough, but I'm doing all right down there. It's worthwhile to go down there. So, yeah, I'm back on Fridays. So now, when locals come in, and I treat them right, and they say to me, hey, this was cool, what nights do you usually work? I can look them right in the eye and say, I'm here every Friday. Come on in, I'll take care of you. Instead of being like, well, I don't know, whenever I'm on the schedule, I guess. It's kind of, I don't know. No, consistent Fridays. It matters. Business-wise, for them, it matters. For me, it works out great because now, yeah, I can still do my mobiles on Saturdays. If I have a mobile that comes up on a Friday, I just let them know. They'll bring in an alternate. That's no problem. I've got weekends where I'm not working, every weekend when I'm not working, to spend with the kids. Nobody's working on the weekends. I was the only one who was doing that. So if I don't have a mobile, the kids and I can do stuff, or Blanca and I can do stuff, or I can go see mom or whatever. Those are still free. If I was working Saturdays, well, that's right in the middle of the weekend. That kind of screws everything up. maybe Sunday when I get up, I can go do something with the family. But for the most part, yeah, those weekends are precious. And if I'm going to work on a weekend, I want to make big money with a mobile. So don't want to be down at the club making good money, but yeah, I can do that on Fridays. I'm also doing little special events down there. When they come up, I play those. And I don't mind doing that at all. And those usually end up being during the week. And of course, they've already got me booked for New Year's. So anyway, that's the video. That's what I got going on. That's why I'm doing it. Yeah, there are a lot of really good personal reasons for me to do this, but there's also really good reasons for Safe House to do this. They're going to make more money with me down there. It's going to take longer to establish regulars than it did in the old days. In the old days, I had regulars in there probably within 3 months, and it just kept growing and growing and growing. But people don't go out as often now, and it's a weird time of year to start doing this. Like I said, I wish I had started doing this like in early summer. I would have had all summer to help establish regulars. But better late than never. We're going to work it from here. It's going to be a long game, but I don't mind playing it, and I don't think they mind playing it either. So anyway, that's it, guys. Turning this camera off. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you soon. I've got some stuff coming up. Got some speakers to show you. Yeah, more speakers from Vante. Battery-powered stuff I'm going to be taking out this Saturday at my mobile gig. So stay tuned for that. We'll see you then. Practice and enjoy.